Indian history begins from Indus Valley civilization to 1947. It's a very vast period. For the convenience of the students, historians, scholars, they divided the history in three parts: ancient India, medieval India, and modern India. Ancient India begins from Indus Valley to 1000 AD. Medieval India from 1000 to 1707 AD. This medieval India is also known as the Muslim rule in India, because during this period the Muslim rules India, Madhyakalin Bharat. This Muslim rule is divided in two parts: the Delhi Sultanate 1206 to 1526, and after that Mughals 1526 to 1707. The third part is modern India. Modern India is from 1707 to 1947. It is also further divided in two parts: later Mughals 1707 to 1857, then the British rule 1857 to 1947. Now we'll do the chronology one by one. We'll start from Indus Valley civilization. The Indus Valley civilization period is from 2500 BCE to 1650 BC. Then comes the Vedic age. Vedic age is further divided in two parts: early Vedic and later Vedic. The period of Vedic age is 1650 to 600 BC. Early Vedic 1650 to 1000, and later Vedic 1000 to 600. In 600 BC, the two events took place. One, the philosophical revolution, the rise of Buddhism and Jainism. And secondly, the whole of the India was divided into 16 Janapada. Jan mean people, Pada mean territory. If you combine both of them, then comes to states. Whole of the country was divided into 16 Janpads, and this is called the second urbanization in India, first being the Indus Valley civilization. Now, from 600 to 500 BC is Buddhism, Jainism. 500 BC to 320 AD, 20 BC is Mauryas. Maurya, the first historical empire in India, founded by Chandragupta Maurya, with the help of his mentor Chanakya or Kautilya. Its period is from 320 BC to 186 BC. The first king is Chandragupta Maurya, who ruled from 320 BC to 298 BC. He was succeeded by his son, Bindusar. Bindusar ruled from 298 BC to 273 BC. Bindusar was succeeded by his son, Ashok. His period is from 269 BC to 232 BC. The gap of 4 years is there because it is said that Bindusar had 101 sons. After his death, all started fighting with each other. One of them, Ashok, killed all his 99 brothers, spared the life of the younger one, that is Suman. and he became the emperor. That is why he was busy in the war of succession, and his coronation took place after 4 years. He ruled from 269 to 232 BC. In Indian history, there are two kings who are called as great. One is Ashok the Great, and the second is Akbar the Great in the medieval India. After Ashok, there was no important king among the Mauryas who could control the huge empire. And this empire, the Mauryan Empire, started declining. Their last king, Bridrat, was assassinated in 186 BC by his own Brahmin commander-in-chief, Pushyamitra Shunga. He was the last king, and the Mauryan Empire came to an end. From 186 BC to 320 AD, there is a penetration of Central Asian tribes, Sakas, Parthians, Scythians, Bactrians, Indo-Greeks. They started coming here, penetrated in India, and finally it is the Gupta period. Guptas ruled from 320 AD to 540 AD. Their first king is Chandragupta I. He ruled from 320 AD to 335 AD. He was succeeded by his son Samudragupta. Samudragupta ruled from 335 to 375 AD. He is known as the Indian Napoleon. Samudragupta was succeeded by his son Ramgupta. He ruled from 375 to 380. Ramgupta was succeeded by his brother Chandragupta II of Chandragupta Vikramaditya, who ruled from 380 to 415 AD. Chandragupta II was succeeded by his son Kumargupta I, who ruled from 415 to 455 AD. Kumargupta I was succeeded by his son Skandgupta, who ruled from 455 to 467 AD. He was the last important king of the Gupta period. The Gupta period, which is known as the Golden Age, Swarna Yug, because there was overall development in the whole of the country. Everywhere there was development, advancement. There were frequent attacks by the Hunas, one of the Central Asian tribe, and this empire came to an end. Its last ruler was wiped out in 540. Then comes the Hunas. Hunas ruled some parts of India from 550 to 600. We come across the names of the two Huna kings, Torman and Mirpur. Then finally comes the Harshvardhana. Harshvardhana ruled from 606 to 647 AD. During this period, Harshvardhana ruled, and he is considered as the last Hindu king of the India. He died in 647 AD. After that, in northern India and some parts of India, there were Rajputs who were frequently fighting with each other. Whole of the country was divided in various small independent states. That is why there was a decline in the Indian Empire, and there is a rise of the Islam. In 712 AD, Muhammad bin Qasim, he attacked Sindh. He was from Arabia. And he was the first Muslim to invade India. And Sindh became the integral part of the Arabian Empire. After that, there were more and more attacks by the Muslim people. And finally, in 1000 AD, one invader, Mahmud Ghaznavi, attacked India 17 times from 1000 to 1707. 1000 AD to 1027 AD. And during this time, he attacked 17 times. Every time he looted, he targeted the temples. His most successful attack was the attack on the temple of Somnath in 1025-26. It was his 16th attack. He died in 1030. After that, there was a vacuum in the these Muslim rulers. There was some disturbance in the Central Asia and the Arabia. That is why after a long time, one another Mughal Muslim invader, Muhammad Ghori, attacked India. He firstly attacked from the Sindh, somewhere in 1175. He was defeated by the rulers of Gujarat, that is Chalukyas of Solanki. Then after a long time, he again attacked from the northern India, that is Khyber Pass and Gomal Pass. And he died in 1206. From 1206 onwards, the Delhi Sultanate began. Why it is called Delhi Sultanate? Because there were 5 dynasties in between 1206 to 1526. That is slaves, who ruled from 1206 to 1290, then Khiljis, 1290 to 1320, then Tughlaqs, 1320 to 1414, then Sayyid, 1414 to 1451, and the lastly Lodhis, 1451 to 1526. These 5 dynasties produced number of kings, rulers. Out of these rulers, there were 7 rulers who laid the foundation of the 7 towns on the bank of the river Jamuna. And those towns were combined and a new town was built, that is Delhi. That is why it is called the Delhi Sultanate. Those towns were Qutbuddin Aibak built Kila Rai Pathora, Alauddin Khilji built Siri, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq built Tughlaqabad, Muhammad bin Tughlaq built Jahanpana, Firoz Shah Tughlaq built Firoz Shah Kotla, Khizr Khan built Khizrabad, and lastly it was Mubarak Shah built the Mubarakabad. Firstly, we'll take up the slave dynasty. Why it is called slave? Because it was founded by one slave. They are also called Mamluk. Mamluk is an Arabic word which means owned. This dynasty was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave of Muhammad Ghori. And he ruled from 1206 to 1210. The slave dynasty ruled from 1206 to 1290. The first king is your Qutb-ud-Din Aibak. He was succeeded by his son, Aram Shah, who ruled from 1210 to 1211, just a couple of months. Aram Shah was succeeded by Iltutmish, 1211 to 1236. Iltutmish was succeeded by his son, Ruknuddin Firoz, 1236 to 1236, just a couple of months. Then it was the daughter of Iltutmish, that is Rajia, the first ever woman to rule India, 1236 to 1240. Rajia was succeeded by her brother Bahram Shah, 1240 to 42. Bahram Shah was succeeded by his brother Alauddin Masood Shah, 1242 to 1246. Then Nasiruddin Mahmud, 1246 to 1266. Balban, who is known as the Bismarck of India, ruled from 1266 to 1286. Balban was succeeded by his grandson Kakabar, ruled from 1286 to 1290, and he was succeeded by his brother Kai Khusro. And after that, it is the Khiljis, who ruled from 1290 to 1320. The first Khilji ruler was Jalaluddin Khilji, who ruled from 1290 to 1296. Jalaluddin Khilji was succeeded by his nephew and son-in-law, Alauddin Khilji, 1296 to 1316. Then he was succeeded by his son Mubarak Shah Khilji, who ruled from 1316 to 1320. Then comes the Tughlaqs. Tughlaq rule is from 1320 to 1414. First king was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1320 to 25. Then the next is Muhammad bin Tughlaq, 1325 to 1351. He was a very well-read person, having a knowledge of all the subjects, all the languages, but he was adamant and was always in a hurry in making a new experiments. That is why he is called by the various scholars as the mixture of opponents. He ruled from 1325 to 1351. He was succeeded by his cousin Firoz Shah Tughlaq, who ruled from 1351 to 1388. Then there were some kings, they were not so important. And finally, this empire was demolished by the attack of Timur in 1397. And in 1414, this dynasty was replaced by the Sayyids. Sayyid dynasty ruled from 1414 to 1451. The first king is Khidr Khan, who ruled from 1414 to 1421. He was succeeded by his son Mubarak Shah, who was the greatest king of this dynasty, ruled from 1421 to 1432. Then there were two very less important kings were there, and finally this dynasty came to an end. And Lodhis ruled. Lodhis ruled from 1451 to 1526. Their first king was Behlol Lodhi, who ruled from 1451 to 1489. He was succeeded by his son Sikandar Lodhi, who ruled from 1489 to 1517. And Sikandar Lodhi was succeeded by his son Ibrahim Lodhi, who ruled from 1517 to 1526. The last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. He fought with the Mughal invader Babur in the plains of Panipat in 1526. This is called the First Battle of Panipat, in which Ibrahim Lodhi was defeated and ousted, and this empire came to an end. Even the Delhi Sultanate came to an end. The Mughal rule began. In Delhi Sultanate, during Delhi Sultanate, there was another very important two events. One, the rise of Sufism, and the rise of Bhakti and Bhakti movement among the Hindus. Very important movements, reformatory movements in the medieval India during this period only. Mughals. Mughal rule is from 1526 to 1707 in the medieval India. Their first king is Babur, who ruled from 1526 to 1530. Then he was succeeded by his son, Humayun. Humayun ruled from 1530 to 40 and 1555 to 1556. So in the gap of this 15 years, it was Suris or the Afghans who ruled. Sher Shah Suri ruled from 1540 to 45. His son Islam Shah ruled from 1545 to 1555. And after the gap of 1.5 decades, he again became the emperor and ruled for a couple of months. That is Humayun from 1555 to 1556. Humayun was succeeded by his son Akbar, 1556 to 1605. I have just told you, there are two kings only who are termed as the Great, Akbar the Great and Ashok the Great. Akbar ruled for about 5 decades, 1556 to 1605. He was succeeded by his son Jahangir, who ruled from 1605 to 1627. Jahangir was succeeded by his son Shah Jahan, who ruled from 1627 to 1658. Aurangzeb ruled from 1658 to 1707. Then comes the modern India. Modern Indian period is from 1707 to 1947. The first phase is the later Mughals, 1707 to 1857. The first king is Bahadur Shah I. He ruled from 1707 to 1712. He was succeeded by Jahandar Shah, who ruled for a couple of months from 1712 to 1713. Then to Farrukh Siyar, 1713 to 1719. During this period, the two brothers known as Sayyid brothers, they were called as the kingmakers. किसी को भी बना दिया, किसी को भी उतार दिया. Then for just few months, the two minor princes were made the emperors, Rafi'ud-Dawla and Rafi'ud-Darza, in 1719 only. Then finally, it is Muhammad Shah. Muhammad Shah ruled from 1719 to 1748. Most of the time, he is busy in the merrymaking. That is why he is called as Rangila, Muhammad Shah Rangila. And during his time in 1739, the Persian invader Nadir Shah attacked India, looted India, and he took away the famous Kohinoor diamond along with the peacock throne from India. Muhammad Shah Rangila was succeeded by Ahmad Shah, who ruled from 1748 to 1754. Then it is Alamgir II, 1754 to 1759. Then Shah Alam II, 1759 to 1806. Akbar II, 1806 to 1837. Then it is Bahadur Shah II or Bahadur Shah Zafar, 1837 to 1857. He took part in the revolt mutiny against the Britishers. He was defeated and made prisoner and sent to Rangoon, where he died in 1861. The so-called Mughal Empire, which was founded by Babur, in 1526 came to an end in 1861. After that, it is a British rule or the freedom struggle. Freedom struggle is further divided in two parts. First is moderate phase, which is up till 1905. Then the next comes the extremist phase up till 1920. And the finally is the Gandhian phase or Gandhian era, 1920 to 1947. This is all the chronology of the Indian history. Thank you.